What's up guys, welcome back to my humble channel. The next version 4.5 is a very interesting patch, not because of the latest new character Chiori, but the Phase 2 banner which is totally unbelievable. Just check this out. Phase 1 features the double jaw just like expected, but Phase 2 relaunches both Kazuha and Neuvillette at the same time, which leads to the direct confrontation between the strongest DPS and strongest support in the game. In addition, starting for the next version, they are gonna introduce a new kind of banner called Conical Wish. But since they didn't reveal its exact details in the live stream, I'll leave this to the next video. Well anyway, let's get back to the normal banner where Kazuha vs Neuvillette. So the question is simple. Which one do you get first? In this video, I'm gonna give you my reviews on all characters in version 4.5 just to help you managing your Primogems. Keep in mind that all my reviews are solely based on free-to-play setup, so no signature weapon or constellations whatsoever. Now without further ado, let's get right into the video! Now let's start with our latest new addition to the roster, Chiori. But honestly, in my opinion, she's one of the most boring and lackluster character I've ever seen that I can hardly recommend you to pull her at all. For the live stream, Chiori is just a pure sub DPS with a nuke that does nothing else except for dealing damage. Combined with the fact she's a dual character, there's absolutely no fun to this character as crystallization is such a trash reaction in the game. Well, you might think she's a great pair with Neuvillette as she can utilize those crystals for her shotgun damage. But apparently, the dev says no. For some unspeakable reasons, they decided to make C0 Chiori bound with Geo Construct, which makes her only playable with these characters as she can't create Geo Construct herself. Without Geo Construct, she can't summon her second puppet, which means she literally loses half of her damage just like that, which is absolutely ridiculous considering her only job is to deal damage. Guys, remember that they just introduced Frina not so long ago, which is far more superior than Chiori in almost every possible ways. Not only her pets are much more intelligent than Chiori's puppet, but also she provides a very strong damage buff to the whole team, while also enabling many strong reactions with her Hydro element all at the same time. Most importantly, there's almost zero restrictions to her team choice as long as there's a proper healer in the team. Now let's take a look at Chiori. What does she really have? A sub DPS that only works with few characters, with only Zhongli being the most decent choice. Alas, as far as we know, there's no new 5-star dual characters in the near future, which means there won't be any buff to Chiori after her release. I guess this is a curse for all dual characters. So honestly, unless her damage as C0 is like triple of Frina or something, I see no reason to pull her meta-wise. Ever since his first release back in version 2.3, Itto hasn't received any single buff to his team, which makes him one of the weakest DPS right now in terms of dealing damage. Don't get me wrong though, with proper investment, he is still able to smash the abyss pretty easily, just like my free-to-play Itto in this footage. But in my opinion, his true strength lies on its survivability, which unfortunately has no value right now as all recent abysses are quite easy in terms of survival. So unless this consecrated beast decide to make a comeback in abyss permanently, I don't think you should put him at all, especially if you don't have CC Skoro. Anyway, the entire reason for him to relaunch at this time is for promoting Chiori. A fun fact, Itto is the only 5-star dual DPS with Geo Construct, which makes him fully compatible to Chiori. They are basically asking you to pull them both if you want to fully experience dual team. But like I said earlier, Chiori is just a pure sub DPS without any supportability, so I really doubt she can make Itto great again unless her damage is absolutely bonkers in full dual team. But even if she does, it costs at least 2 5-stars, which is already enough for you to get C1 Neuvillette or Kazuha in the next banner. So yeah, just skip both of them unless you absolutely love their design. It's been proven over the years that Kazuha is literally the most valuable character in the entire game. Even after almost 3 years of his release, you can still find him in almost every meta team right now, which is absolutely insane in a gacha game. Thanks to Hoyoverse being reluctant with introducing more limited 5-star supports, Kazuha still remains as the best damage buffer in the game, being able to greatly boost the damage of entire team with absolutely minimal requirement of thrilling element. Besides, thanks to his unique elemental infusion, he is the easiest character to do double thrill, which allows you to boost 2 elements at the same time. That's the reason why Child International was so popular and strong back in the day. Besides, for some reason, there's not a single new crowd controller ever since Kazuha, which means he still remains as the best grouper in the game that even dual characters welcome him to the team. Furthermore, despite being a pure support, his damage multiplier is actually on par with most DPS, which gives him a choice to become the DPS himself with proper builds and teammates. As for the final point, the next 2 countries are Pyro and Cryo, which leaves lots of opportunities for Kazuha to join and support the future characters. I don't see how they can exclude Kazuha out of the team unless all of them are signed on with extremely long on-field time. So I don't think there's any reason for you to skip this boy, if only his greatest competitor isn't getting redone at the same time. If Kazuha is the king of the support, then Neuvillette is literally the god of DPS. This author is so insanely broken that playing him feels exactly like using a trainer in PC games. For your context, a C0 Neuvillette with 3 prototype Ember can easily solo the Spiral Abyss all by himself, allowing you to fully focus on building your second team. As if that's not broken enough just yet, thanks to his absurdly broken passive talent, this solo damage of him can easily get multiplied by 1.6 times just by bringing any 3 teammates with different elements. But that's not all, he has the absolute largest AoE in the entire game, which almost covers the entire Abyss floor if you decide to do the 360 spin at the center. Furthermore, his attack pierces all kinds of physical walls and shields, which leaves enemies nowhere to hide except for falling away. Well, even that doesn't work either. At last, Neuvillette is one of the only few DPS that scales entirely on HP, which makes him one of the most tankiest DPS when combined with his self-healing ability. The only weakness he has is he's vulnerable to interaction during charge attack, which is easily solved by any shield character or his own C1. But even without any of them, he can easily dodge most attacks by himself as he moves fairly quickly during charge attack. This footage is the perfect example. Anyway, here's the summary of Neuvillette's kit, and I do think he's close to be the perfect DPS in the game, which is really hard to get power creep in the future. So be sure to grab him this time around if you have enough Primogems. So as conclusion, I do think Kazuha is still the first priority over Neuvillette just because he's a universal support who works in almost any team you like. Besides, like I mentioned before, Hoyoverse prefers releasing DPS over supports, which makes Kazuha more future-proof than Neuvillette. Also, even Neuvillette benefits greatly from Kazuha, so you can't really go wrong putting Kazuha first. But of course, no one is gonna judge you if you choose Neuvillette, as he really is the most perfect DPS right now, especially with his C1. I don't think they are gonna release another character as strong as him, at least until the late Nut run. As for the double duel, you have to wait until I get my hands on Chiori so I can show you her damage for you. But I will say this now, only consider to pull her if her damage is at least triple of Furina, otherwise she will get power creep very easily. Alright, that's all for this video, and I hope you benefit from this guide. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.